Derek.
Oh!
Hey!
Hey!
How are you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah?
How are you?
Good, good. What a surprise to see you here.
Yeah. What are the chances?
So, while you're here, you flew in from Japan.
Going from Japan.
The people who watch my channel love to hear some stories about you. You have time for me?
Yeah, I got some time.
Sure.
Let's have a chat.
All right. You want coffee or tea?
Tea, please.
Okay, I'll get you tea. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
There we are.
There we are.
Derek.
Well,
I'm going to introduce you to the audience.
Okay.
Basically, Dutch audience. Hey kijkers en luisteraars. Hartstikke welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van Tussen de Slagen Door. Vandaag is een heel speciaal moment. Want deze keer zijn we in mijn recording studio, eigenlijk mijn mix studio. Waar ik alle muziek componeer voor drummers. Waar ik dingen afmix. Maar toevallig was D.R.A.M.A in de house. Letterlijk nu ook. Hij is hier omdat hij in Friedrichshaven de UK Drum Show. Daar heeft hij gestaan met zijn fantastische product. D.R.A.M.A is een drummer, daar gaan we daar ook alles over horen. Maar dat bleek dat hij dus ook nog even in Den Haag rond zou hangen. Dus ja, ik heb hem uitgenodigd om hier te zijn. We hebben geluncht en toen kwam op het idee, heel spontaan, om dit gesprek aan te gaan. Dus ladies and gentlemen, we gaan door in Engels. We continue in English. This is D.R.A.M.A, my friend, drummer, entrepreneur. Welcome.
thank you. It is my pleasure to be here.
Amen.
I'm so excited.
You drink tea, I have my coffee.
Yeah.
So cheers to that.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we continue this conversation in English because it's way better for you.
Or we could do it in Japanese. That's...
Yeah, let's do it in Japanese. But you are a drummer, and you came up with a crazy idea to make an app with your company. And I got the app because of a good friend of mine, Eddie from Dongen, who actually pointed out that it's a great app. And I started using it since I met you last year in Friedrichshaven. And I'm really happy about it. So we're going to talk about the app. But first I want to learn more about you.
Yeah,
right? Because I met you as a super friendly guy, drinking tea, having time for everybody, even for me, we didn't know each other. And to me that was very pleasant because in an environment like Friedrichshaven, a drum show is very hectic. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people. And the thing that I found out is if you as a person take the time to have a proper conversation with somebody you don't know, that says something about you. So how did that work out for you? I mean, working on a drum show like European drum show, and then being able to focus on the conversations that you're doing.
Well, first of all, shout out to Eddie. Thanks to Eddie for connecting us.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
The way that I approach conversations with people, it's really because I want to build a personal relationship with everyone. And maybe I'm, I don't know, a little crazy for thinking that I can do this, but for me, just throughout my life, I really feed off of the energy of connecting with people.
Okay.
And I want to be able to remember that person. Hopefully, if they have an opportunity to remember me, I'm there to share what I'm creating, especially at the drum shows. And, if it's the right timing for people to give it a try, that's great. If not, that's cool too. I'm just there to share and, also to get feedback.
Right.
Because I'm a drummer and I have my set of experience, but I'm not every drummer.
Right.
And you as a teacher, Eddie as a content creator, right? Everybody has unique experience. And my dream with BeatNote is to make sure it's a community-driven app. I want to ensure the feedback from the community gets pulled in and integrated into that so that it can help satisfy your needs and Eddie's needs and to other teachers, content creators, and students as well.
Okay, but now I dive a little bit deeper. So personally, this is we talk about the BeatNote later because then people understand what you're about. So, but I mean, if I go to a fair, I meet so many people. also interested in connecting, but sometimes there's so much to focus on. Some things you just have to filter. Do you filter also during like a fair like that?
Filter for what?
Well, what the concept of filtering is more like, do I really get in touch with this person, or is this? We'll find out if this works, or this is not my moment to have a real contact with this, or a real connection with this person.
I just come to it as open.
Okay.
Open to receiving. Can't remember exactly if there's like a phrase or a mantra or something in that mind, but just the concept of being open to connecting with people.
Right.
And if the other party is open to connecting as well, if I perceive that kind of energy, then we can have a good conversation.
So it's about energy.
There's some kind of energy, there's some kind of unspoken like sixth sense there, you know.
Right.
As long as I present myself as open and honest, and you know, I want to give off that kind of energy. Yeah. And I believe that the energy I give off is going to attract similar energy. Right. And so if the other people I'm talking to have similar energy, then sure, we can dive down into the rabbit hole and go deep on things for sure.
So you get what you spread, kind of thing. I don't know if that's an expression, but yeah. And then you know how to connect. Great. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about what you create, because the reason why we are in contact in the first place, of course, besides you're a guy, I like you as a person. Hopefully that's likewise. I don't know, but
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you created the beat note, and I know what it is, but maybe you can give a short explanation about what it is and why it is so useful for drummers.
Yeah, so the vision behind Beat Note is to create a drumming education platform that can help to satisfy the needs of both educators on one side and students on the other side. Right. And so the educators are going to include teachers and content creators, people who are composing contents, and then the students, anybody who's studying drums.
Okay.
And the goal is to help connect these both sides of the puzzle, both pieces of the puzzle, to give composers, educators, great tool set for easily composing and notating drum set notation. Right. And then also being able to share that, export it. So for content creators, exporting videos, exporting images you can put onto your content. And then for students, for them to have the facility of practice support and to be able to take this content and practice it in various ways.
Right. And that, any more?
There's a lot that could be, there's a lot that we could talk about. Yeah. I think it might be helpful for me to just say that, you know, I've been drumming since I was 11. So, I don't know, 30 some odd years, 35-ish plus years. And then I ended up, I was accepted to the Berklee College of Music. My jazz band, my high school jazz band used to play there. Okay. And so our jazz band, our high school jazz band, they gave out 2 awards for like best performer in the jazz band. It went to our lead alto player, and I received the other one. Oh, wow. They gave us a tour of the facility, and then I applied to Berklee, and I was accepted. However, I did not have the support of my parents to actually pursue music as a career. Okay. And I can understand that. Yeah. And I don't have any like regrets or anything about not being able to do that, because you know, I went to Purdue University, I studied computer science, I got my CS degree, and that allowed me to learn programming. Right. And I graduated 1999, got a software developer job, and when the iPhone and the iPad started to come out and gain popularity, I got really excited, and I said, this is something I can use to build educational apps for drumming. This is the beginning. Yeah. I found my college application letter back when I was in high school. Oh, yes. 1994. I wrote in there, my dream is to find a way to combine my passions for computer programming and drumming.
So basically, you're saying that was already there.
It was already
before you actually.
Always been there. It's always been there. And when the iPad came out, I got really excited. Like, this is something I could use. I bought my first Mac in 2012.
Okay.
I taught myself the programming language you needed to know to be able to make apps.
Right.
And I learned how to build apps on iOS at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made my first app was a yoga app for a friend in Tokyo who was a yoga teacher.
Oh, so you built a different app first.
Built a different app first.
Okay.
You know, and then I attended drum camps at Mike Johnston's drum camp, his studio in California. I became good friends with Mike and ended up taking one of his books called Groove Freedom, and I digitized that into an iPad app.
Right.
That was around 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And then, similar experience, I attended a camp with Benny Greb in Chicago, and he was teaching his gap click concept.
Wow.
And he's teaching the concepts. This is like 2016. And a student asked, like, hey, well, this is a great idea to practice with like a metronome and then no metronome, and then the metronome comes back in, but how do we practice that? And Benny asked, are there any app developers in the room?
You put up your hand.
And I raised my hand, and he was familiar with the work I had done with Groove Freedom, and so he said, okay, let's talk. And it took some time. You know, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot of projects going on. It took a little time for him to slot it in.
Right.
And then we decided to work together on the Gap Click app. So I built that for Benny. It's his vision, his concept, his creation. Mm-hmm. I'm just the guy who wrote the code, right, for that.
Just the guy who wrote the code. Oh, but you did a great job, because I'm using that app also. And it's a great help for getting more confident about your own timing, basically.
It's really great.
Feel for metric time.
Yeah, you build that internal clock.
Yeah.
Solidify your subdivisions with a moving click. Yeah, it's really great. I really love it too.
So there's I hear already two different apps that you started before you worked on BeatNote.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are both my initial contributions to drumming education. And honestly, I had a block. I thought I had to build an app for an educator who already had an audience. I thought I had to build an app for people who had an audience that they could promote the app to.
Right.
Because if nobody knows who I am and I build an app, then no one's going to download it, is the assumption I had made.
Right.
I realized that assumption was wrong. And I have plenty of great ideas, and I have all sorts of things that I want to create. And if I create something that provides value to people, then they will use it. Yeah. And then I'll end up in their studio on a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's very good.
So the idea for BeatNote originally came from talking to other publishers, because after I released Groove Freedom for Mike Johnston, one of the most loudest or like common feedback I heard from people was, man, Derek, I really wish I had this for all of my drum books.
Right.
And so I was talking to a publisher, and they said, okay, Derek, well, if you want, you can have access to all of our books and go ahead and digitize them. Yeah. And I was like, okay, and in what free time am I supposed to find the way to do that?
Yeah. You only have one life, huh?
I only have one, yeah. I wish I had a couple duplicates of Derek, because send one home to the U.S. and keep one in Japan, and but there's only one Derek, and I didn't manage to create the time to do that. Yeah. And so really the inspiration originally for BeatNote was, if I create the tool that allows us to compose,
then they can do it themselves.
Crazy. And why do we need to digitize all of the existing books and catalogs when we can have new teachers, new educators, new drummers who have new ideas create new content?
Interesting thing you say there. So me too, I'm always thinking about, I have got some good stuff that I could put into a book, and then we can put it out, and many people can learn from it. At the same time, when you said this about, hey, how about I create a tool so new teachers can come up and students can come up with questions or ideas, Did you develop that while you were working on the BeatNote app, or is it something that you already thought about when you started working on it?
I thought about it when I started to work on it, but originally I was still stuck in the I'm going to use this to create the contents,
Right.
to digitize
Yeah.
paper publications.
Right.
Originally, the whole journey of this has just been amazing. So honestly, I started to write the code for this over 5 years ago. And I released the first version of BeatNote in June of 22.
Okay.
So we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of its release.
Right.
And the thing that's really unique to software is that it can continue to evolve, and particularly in the way that we build software in modern times, and specifically the last 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Right? Software is different from hardware because it is soft, it's malleable,
Right.
it can change, it
Yeah.
can evolve. And so even if I had started out with a certain expectation or assumption about how BeatNote would evolve,
Yeah.
through going to the Europe Drum Show, going to the UK Drum Show, going to Music City, going to PASIC, talking to people, and getting more input and
You
feedback,
can alter everything, of course.
you can
Right.
slightly, adjust things.
Yeah.
And the journey of this has just been absolutely amazing. All of the people I've been able to connect with,
Right.
all of the feedback and input I've been able to receive, and then really feed that back into the application. So I may have originally had like an expectation of where I expected BeatNote to go, but to me it's more of like a North Star,
Right.
and my North Star is really drumming education and satisfying the needs of drum teachers, content creators, and students.
Right.
And there's a lot to do there, and it's going to, it's
Yeah.
not a straight line from A to B.
No.
We're going to
understand.
figure out our path to get there, and that North Star of drumming education and the needs of teachers and content creators and students is really just the main thing I'm working towards.
Okay. So, interesting, because you said you played drums for more than 30 years,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you did gigs, right?
Oh, I did. I had 2 original rock bands that were both signed to labels.
Okay. Jazz you played also?
I played a lot of jazz. So I did jazz in high school and university. I had 2 original rock bands that I played with. We did.
What kind of rock was that?
Hard rock.
Okay.
One was. They were both hard rock bands. One was called Down to This. We played from 2003 to 2007, mostly in the Washington D.C. area. Did some touring up and down the East Coast.
Original repertoire?
All original repertoire.
Wow,
And
cool.
the highlights with that band, we played CBGB's in New York City
Okay.
a number of times. Our poster was on CBGB's when they closed it, because we played within the last like few months before they closed it.
Yeah.
And that piece of the wall,
Is still there?
no, it's in the Hard Rock Cafe.
No! Your
Yeah.
poster also on top of it.
It's a friend of mine was in London at the Hard Rock Cafe flipping through their memorabilia book,
Yeah.
and they had a picture of it
Oh, wow.
in there.
Yeah.
He's like, Derek, you're in the Hard Rock. I was like, what? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Hey, can we still see you playing the drums then? On videos or any YouTube links?
Yeah,
that we
there's
can-
YouTube stuff we can share.
Because we can share that here in the description.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, because I think it's very important to understand your career from being professional drummer, touring in the US, and not only jazz but also rock, and going up and down into developing this. I mean, it's really a great app. I really like to use it, and I'm still learning how to use it. Even the moments that we are here, you added some stuff, and I go like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. But it's interesting to hear that your big career as a drummer, you said goodbye to it, right? Because you don't play in a band right now.
Well, I didn't say goodbye to it. It's just more that it's on pause.
Okay.
Okay. I had a very
Good to hear, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a lot in marching percussion, concert percussion, and then jazz band, Latin percussion throughout high school and college. I marched with DCI, Drum Corps International in the United States. I marched with 2 corps, the Boston Crusaders and the Blue Stars. So I had a lot of time invested in building up my drumming skills.
Right.
And then, 10 years in Washington, D.C. area, playing in bands, touring domestically, internationally. One of the bands that I joined was a mostly Filipino-American band called The Speaks.
Okay.
And so we did some touring in the Philippines, played some showcases in L.A.,
Wow.
Las Vegas, New York City. Lots of really just amazing experiences with these bands. And even after moving to Japan, I played some jazz. I sat in with some J-pop bands. Played Latin at
J-pop is Japanese pop?
Japanese pop,
okay.
Yeah.
We have K-pop and J-pop. I never heard of it. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And so, my daughter was born about 5 years ago. And so in order of priority, family is coming first, getting my business off the ground is coming second, and then drumming, and everything else kind of falls underneath that.
Yeah.
So I'm still, playing a little bit, just practicing and playing with some friends.
So you have the opportunity at home also to practice?
So Tokyo, no. The apartments are a little small and tiny, and even electronic drum set is a little bit too loud.
Yeah.
But I'm 15-minute walk away from a studio chain that's all throughout Tokyo, and I can go there the night before. I can make a reservation
to practice.
To practice. Yeah,
wow.
as cheap as like $7 or $8 per hour. And so I'll just block off 3 or 4 hours, and I'll just go over there.
Yeah.
Because I got to set up all the drums, so it's comfortable for me.
Oh, you need to set up everything.
Well, they've got the drum set there, but it's not comfortable for me. So I got to tilt
you have to put your little bits and pieces.
Put things where it's not like a guitar, you got to put everything where it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I can play, for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then put everything back. And
so good to know this, because now I have a question. What do you practice, or don't you practice? Just play along with music? How does that? What does it look like if you go there?
There's a combination of things, so it depends on really what I'm in the mood for. If I haven't played in a while, then I'll usually start playing some songs.
Okay.
They could be songs that I just like. There are some songs that I think are challenging, that I want to challenge myself with. Things I've played before, bands that I've played with before. Sometimes I'll put some of those things on just to get warmed up. A lot of times I'm just trying to experiment with something new. I went through a big linear grooves, session of practice where I just did linear grooves and just focused on that. Otherwise, in the past, if I've had a big gig, I had a friend of mine asked me to play a Latin song at his wedding. He wanted to play "On Fire" by Michel Camilo. Okay. And not the recorded version, but the live version that's on YouTube. So
extended version also.
You can look it up.
Yeah.
And
we'll put the link in there.
You can put the link in there. Yeah. He's a classically trained pianist, and so he actually asked someone to transcribe the piano part of that YouTube version. Yeah. And he had the whole thing, and so I spent a lot of time practicing to warm up for that.
Wow. Hey, and when you practice, do you use BeatNote?
I do.
Yeah. And how do you use it then?
Well, there are a couple ways that I think are really fun to use BeatNote for practice. Of course, you can program in something that you already know and play along to it. There are other creative ways, and this was inspired by another BeatNote user, actually, who was telling me he would purposely put in things that he couldn't play. So, for example, fives. I just never did much with fives because when I was growing up with drums, it just wasn't a thing. But now with BeatNote, I can program in a groove in 5. Yeah. And I can hear it and play along to it, slow it down, just focus on getting that hi-hat pattern, hi-hat and kick. When I do independence, I start 2 looms at a time. So right hand, right foot, right hand, left hand. And usually the problem is typically with my left hand and my right foot.
Right-handed people have a left-hand problem.
Yes.
It's very common.
It is. So those are a couple ways in which I'm using BeatNote to do some practice.
And then you use it on your telephone, I guess. Or do you bring your iPad?
I bring my iPad. Yeah, if I'm going to be in the studio, I'll bring my
What is
iPad.
your advice for using BeatNote, telephone or iPad?
Whichever one works for you. I would say phone is good on the go. iPad is good when you've got the room. Mac OS is also supported. Any of the current Apple Silicon M-chip Macs supports BeatNote. The data syncing across devices isn't in there yet, but that's coming. And it's probably the most highly requested enhancement on the roadmap. So you can go to the BeatNote website, click on roadmap, or under the app and settings, tab on product roadmap, and you'll see all the features that either I've created or the community has created and what's coming next for features.
Cool. Hey, you're about to go back to Japan. This is where you live, and it's amazing. We had a conversation about Tokyo, where you live. What are the plans for you for the coming weeks, besides fighting the jet lag?
Jet lag will be a few days for sure. Probably a good 3 or 4 days to get over the jet lag. I am excited to get back to Beatnote, and so there are a few things. The Music City Drum Show is coming up in July, so I'm going to be exhibiting at the Music City Drum Show in July, so there'll be some preparations for that. I'm also going to be working on a few Beatnote features. One of them is syncing data across devices, and there are a few other features that are really highly requested that people are asking for. So my work, I'm not only writing the code, I'm doing the UI, or the user interface and UX, user experience design of the app itself. I'm also doing all the management for the software product.
You're like a big company, but there's one person.
I'm a one-person team.
Also the A&R manager and the promotional guy and
marketing, advertising, finance, customer support. Yeah.
It's quite a thing.
It's quite a thing. I am very fortunate. I've had a few friends like Eddie and some other friends that are coming out to these conferences. We're helping represent Beatnote and share it with other people as well. And so that's I don't want to say that like I don't acknowledge that is a huge part of the community. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have the support of you and Eddie and other people who are coming to conferences and helping things out and spreading the word, using it as a teacher, sharing it with their students. I just got a video from a friend of mine, Sergio, at the Berklee College of Music yesterday. He was sharing Beatnote with one of his students, and his student was showing him the beats he was creating on it to use for practice. Right. And I just think that's amazing. And
so it really helps, like you told in the beginning of this conversation, focused on the teachers as well as on the students, and activate the creative mind. And that's really what I find interesting, and it also you got me hooked on your app, which is good. There's a couple of things that I still want to ask you, and this has got more to do with you see the development nowadays with the next generation drummers. There's a lot of it to do on Instagram and on YouTube, and when I have conversations with different drummers. Some drummers say, well, you shouldn't watch the internet anymore because you have to focus on your own identity and your own ideas. I would like to hear from you, what would be your advice to next generation drummers of today?
With regards to
using the internet?
Using the internet. I think it's a really interesting time to be coming up as a drummer. Because when I was in high school, there were only so many drummers. I went to a very small high school. I grew up in a very small town. My high school class had 200 people in it, I think. So the high school itself had maybe 700 or 800 students. Yeah. And by my junior year, the two upperclassmen drummers in the marching band, they had already graduated. And then I was somehow like the most skilled drummer in the marching band. Yeah. But I didn't know what existed beyond that. Right. Right. I went to a Dave Weckl clinic and I saw Dave play. Yes. But he's like up here, right? Yeah. Like you can't even see. I still can't even see where Dave Weckl is, to be honest. But like. I mean, he's maybe I got a little bit closer, but like when your aspiration is that high, you just don't know how to get there. And my high school band director changed that year, and he's the one who told me like, hey, Derek, you should go audition for the Boston Crusaders. And I was like, who were the Boston Crusaders? I had no idea. Wow, yeah. And I went to audition for them, and it was like not even I was not even close. Okay. They were just like, forget about it. Yeah. Like, come back next year. Yeah. And I came back the next year, and it was the same thing. I still wasn't good enough to get in. Yeah. And so how do I close that gap, right, from where I am and the environment that I'm in and where I want to get and the environment where I want to get to? It was really hard to know. Yeah. And so now we're in kind of the opposite of that, right? There's so much information out there that it's overwhelming.
Right.
And you see exactly how much talent there is, not just in your area anymore, but all around the world.
Yeah.
And it just really depends on how people consume that information, right? Is it overwhelming and demoralizing and I'm just going to give up? Or is it inspiring, like, oh, even that's possible. Wow, I didn't realize it. And so I think it's a combination of two things. Your mindset and how you consume that material and having a healthy relationship with it.
Right.
And if it is demoralizing to you, then don't consume it.
Right.
Social media, just in general, it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
You've got positives on one side and you've got negatives on the other side.
Yeah.
And people are going to have to decide for them, can they have a healthy relationship with social media, or would it be better to, focus inward? For me personally, I think focusing inward is the best thing to do because I prefer the mindset of I'm only in competition with myself.
Right.
And can I become 1% better today than I was yesterday? Because then that will compound and compound and compound and compound and compound.
And then you build up, right?
You build up slowly and you focus inward.
Right.
And I even just talking about this, I recall like being in drumline and playing and also trying to be aware of other people and what they were doing, because part of it is a comparison, like, is my technique right? Am I doing this correctly? But it's almost like working out when you're at the gym. You don't know if your form is correct or not until a personal trainer has actually told you what you're doing, because even if you're looking at a mirror, you may not be able to see what they can see because you're
focused on something totally different.
Yeah. Or you don't know where to look, or you don't know how to look at it, or whatever it is. And I remember my drum teachers telling me, like, just focus on yourself.
Right.
Don't look at anybody else.
Yeah.
But there's always that part of me that wanted to compare and like, well, I'm trying to learn, like, by comparing things. But I think there is a lot to be said about focusing inward and focusing on yourself and focusing on your own growth when it comes to that. Because there's a lot of talent out in the world, and I think that is very inspirational. And it can also be very overwhelming to some people.
Thanks, man. This is great advice. Derek, is there anything that you would like to share with the watchers, the viewers, about anything?
I would just say,
besides all the links that we will put in the description. Of course,
we'll put some links in the description. Yeah. I just want to reiterate that BeatNote is a community-driven application.
Okay.
I am a drummer of 35 plus years across marching, jazz, rock, all sorts of experience, and I'm not every drummer. And having that community is, I think, really, really critically important to this. And
so the app is also built to create a community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm slowly going to start introducing more community-related enhancements to the app itself, so that the app itself can start to help develop more sense of community. Right now, I just have the product roadmap on the website and under the settings tab where people can talk about what else they would like to see in the app. Effectively, right, you can do composition, you can do any subdivision at this point. Triplets, 16th notes, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 32nd notes. It's got all of the drum set voices in there. There's no limit to how many measures you can do. There's a special template for exercises that teachers had asked for. There's video export that came from content creators. So there's a lot of elements in BeatNote that are already reflecting the feedback from the community. Right. And I have a long vision for BeatNote. And a lot of stuff that's still yet to come. Well,
as long as you have that vision and more people can find their ways using it, I think you have a long life that you have to lead to keep developing this.
I hope so.
Derek, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for this conversation. De kijkers thuis. Dit is nou een mooi exempel of een mooi voorbeeld, moet ik weer vertalen. Spontane momenten, zoals we hier bij Tussen de Slagen Door doen, between the notes. Zorg ervoor dat we eigenlijk de mooiste verhalen, the most beautiful stories, we get inside stories from the people behind creating beautiful products. Why am I talking two languages? Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And okay. Oh, wacht. Before we continue, I do this in Dutch. Sorry. Tussen de Slagen Door. Help me gewoon door gewoon te abonneren en verspreid het woord. Want ik vind het heel belangrijk om te zien dat er vraag naar is om dit soort onderwerpen te zien en te horen. Binnenkort is het ook op Spotify te beluisteren. Want ik maak er natuurlijk ook gewoon audiofiles van. Geheel op verzoek van een hele hoop luisteraars. Want kennelijk zitten mensen ook in de auto en dan kun je natuurlijk niet kijken. Dan is het leuker om het te luisteren. Voor nu bedankt. Klik op de like button. Subscribe. My English going down the drain. Tot de volgende keer.